Can you set it to buzz instead?
That is what I have done.
Ah.
But I had to find the button for that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All the buttons look the same, unless you read them.
Mm.
Reading? I can't read. I'm a teacher. That's what my students are supposed to do.
It's so you don't have to put on your bifocals? I get to say that. I'm wearing progressives. I
Uh,
drive
I
with
am too.
I'm going with the
Yeah.
bifocals. That's what's on my face right now.
Yeah, I think mine are progressives, and I don't drive, so it's fine.
I have bifocals for driving.
Mm.
I like having the line going across to let me know, hey, you are definitely looking at this through the wrong side of your glasses.
Mm.
Weird. I got used to progressives like almost instantly. It's like my eyes had just been so wonked up, I guess, previously. That's like, okay, just sort of shift my head around till I get the, focal viewpoint. Sure, yeah, that works.
There is a middle ground between my reading lenses and my distance lenses where neither of them will work for it. So even with my bifocals on, there's times where I have to still lift my glasses up onto my forehead to be able to see the thing in front of me.
I've done that with my glasses if I'm trying to read ingredients on a food package and the package is like a bright color and the words are in white. You know?
Quite a people do that.
Yeah.
That is a company where they decided they did not need a graphic designer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, hello and welcome to Pack Tactics Season 4. This is a homebrew. Oh, thank you, Ellie. Yes, that is in my favorites, by the way.
The
It's-
design is my passion.
That's one of those things that you send to every graphic designer you know that doesn't know your address. Exactly. This is a homebrew Dungeons & Dragons campaign, but it's all kobolds. Seriously, they're kobolds. Don't ask.
Mhm.
Okay, that one isn't a kobold, but they're the adopted human. Don't worry about that. Maury's having a very bad month, year, unit of time.
She's our sidekick now. We love her.
I mean, you've also ruined her life. But besides that,
In our defense,
You're kobolds.
Well, yes, but in our other defense, they locked us up and were going to try to dissect us.
I mean, that is also a truth.
I feel like a little bit of disproportionate revenge is not out of the question, even if Sori didn't know it was going to be that disproportionate.
I'm sure it'll be fine for somebody else.
Yeah.
Runtap does not see why this is disproportionate.
Well, they didn't actually kill any of us, and I think we kind of caused a few fatalities. So Sori is a little bit concerned that we escalated, but
They were going to make the attempt.
it might have been smoothed over by talking. Maybe? Possibly?
I told them that we were diplomats and they decided to attempt to dissect us. Therefore, we are at war. Therefore, what we did was a perfectly normal act of war and not disproportionate.
These are all points of view that are valid.
If they're going to go to war with a nation, they should not be surprised that this nation blew up their temple.
Suppose that attacking diplomats is extremely rude.
I mean, even the Cobot diplomat you met was able to survive getting back onto the planet after talks fell through with the Elf Armada.
True, and probably not via orbital velocity either.
Likely not via orbital velocity. Actually, no one ever asked how they got back to the planet, but they're not here right now, so that's not currently a thing. In any case, I love that I didn't even have to say, well, what happened last time? You went back multiple months.
Yeah, well, poor Maury.
In real life time, not character time. In character time, I don't think you've been on the planet a month yet.
And we're already causing chaos. We're so good.
And you've already blown up High Temple. Well,
Mhm.
part of it. You blew it up a little bit.
We blew up the part that had all of the pretty murals on the ceiling, and we're very sad about that.
You
Or at
also
least
blew up the
Daza is.
space laser.
Sad about that.
The space laser is now physics.
Good.
It was physics before, but never mind about that. So there are two parties involved right now. There's a birthday party over in the side room that's been rented out. There's some animatronic characters that are singing a song. Don't worry about that. No, in seriousness, the Blue Dragon, whose name is Dirkia, is currently negotiating with the Karasites. They're called the Karasites because each faction on this planet serves a different deity, and no more deities besides these 5. If there's any more that try to get that close, we wipe them out. That's why they kill all the dragons they find, etc., etc. Well, they serve a deity named Carusa, who is the goddess of nomadic people, also patience and exploration. So the Karasites don't tend to have a specific location that they stay in constantly, but they tend to be relegated to the Ashlands, which, outside of an oasis like this one, which is rare, tend to not necessarily be hospitable for life, any kind of life. It's been known that if there is a major disaster that wipes out a forest, whether it's a fire or a volcanic eruption, etc., etc., plant life tends to come back fairly quickly, like in a year or two, everything's green again. The Ashlands have been the Ashlands for as long as living memory. There are legends of what they looked like before. These are legends.
Can someone cast Detect Magic on all that ash?
This one is magic, and this one is magic, and this... Were the Ashlands created in a magical fire blast?
Yes.
Multiple fire blasts, yes. But never mind about that. Now,
Created in a magical shockwave leading out from this crater?
The Ashlands cover this entire particular continent and a few others as well.
Okay.
So,
Too much. Can't do.
Might be more craters around.
Oh, there are other indentations. This particular one is fairly large, and the legend of this location is that it was created when the moon came down and touched the planet. Not everyone in the Karasites believes that legend. A lot of them think it's a just so story, because, the moon's still up there. If it came down, what would make it go back up again?
Magic. Maybe it bounced.
Yeah, like someone would have enough magic to do that. Keep in mind, high-level spellcasters are also approaching godhood, and therefore they would also be wiped out if possible. So they... Resurrection.
Anybody who's clean.
What's that?
Also anybody who's clean.
Cleanliness is next to godliness.
Oh.
I love my circle of friends so much.
Because we're nuts.
Technically, I'm a legume.
Indeed. But are you blue?
Ba-da-dee-da-da-da.
Oh my.
The puns just keep spawning more puns. It's fantastic. But if any of you has any issue with me acting like a flamingo, I'm going to have to put my foot down. That's the one I've been using on students all week. And it's amazing who gets it and who doesn't.
I get it.
In any case, this particular group of Karasites are unusual in that they still live like they're nomads. They live in tents, not permanent structures, but they don't travel the Ashlands. They pretty much stay here constantly and tend this oasis, because as a location that has a ready supply of water and a crater that, if you go down just a little bit, it's shielded from any winds that might be blowing over the area, it's a great place to set up a nursery for growing plants. That's why there's an orchard. If you go out further, there's other plants as well. And they have been selectively breeding various types of plant life in an effort to revitalize the Ashlands and make them livable again. They've had some success. It has taken generations, but Carusa is also the goddess of patience. So,
valid.
Yes. But this particular group, because this is where they decided was going to be their permanent home, they've started calling themselves the Moon Touched. Their currency is the loonie.
We'd best be careful, we'll get spent.
Which is really weird because there's a duck on it, but never mind about that.
Perhaps they should consider importing some animals to make a very small breeding stock, because then they can have a small herd to feed the dragon. Take the edge off.
Oh, they do have animals here.
Yeah, you need a lot of manure to try to fertilize the ashlands.
The more mobile Karosites will bring animals with them as they travel. So they tend to focus on animals that are either easy to carry or can walk along with them. But they do have animals.
If they need any more, there's a train. I mean, that's how we got there.
Yeah, they didn't know where that went. Anyone who walked down it ran out of provisions and had to come back because of how long the trip was. So there's we're just going to leave that under observation.
You need a really fast car. And even then it takes a while.
What's a car?
The thing we came in? Train car?
Yeah, we've never seen one of those before.
They stopped sending them back and forth after the crater.
So after the moon came down, the cars stopped moving.
Because the people on the other end stopped getting anything, so it was broken.
The person you're talking to looks over at Maury and says, "Does this make any sense to you?"
Poor Maury,
No.
it sadly...
No, and I was there for it. Well, some of it. I wasn't here for the moon coming down. I don't know how that would happen. But, I mean, I took the car here, and it was weird. Anyway, apparently it wasn't supposed to stop here. It was supposed to keep going, but, giant hole in the ground. Kind of, the tracks don't go further than that.
Wahoo!
And we didn't want to go airborne because we'd go splat or splash. Probably both.
I believe a comment that had been made was that because the people who designed the track were cowards,
Right.
it was not going to go airborne.
Yeah.
I wonder if it would be possible to move the cart to the continuation on the other end of the valley.
We haven't found the continuation, if I recall correctly.
This is the
There's
only
another
opening
time.
in the side of the crater.
Krish, didn't you say there was another at the other end?
I'm telling you what the Karosites are saying.
Oh,
Karosites haven't found one. I mean,
Yeah, it's just
there ought to be one, but
why?
because
there was a track here before the moon came down.
Yeah, I'm still not following.
we don't
This
think...
was not the destination point. Therefore,
We hope.
on the other side, the track would continue as the tunnel was split by the moon.
I don't know what's hard to understand. It seems pretty straightforward to me. The person you've been talking to just sort of jumps because apparently Dirkia can make some pretty nice stealth checks. For a dragon.
Actually, Sori is polite. It's probably, "Hello, Lord Dirkia." Because you say that to dragons.
Apparently you do.
I mean, Sori probably automatically says that to dragons, I feel like.
Look, it's pretty simple. You got a long tunnel that's not really turning at all. It's not going to just, stop and send you into empty air or into the water. It's going to keep going on the other side. The tunnel's right over there.
One.
Dirkia points at a solid wall.
Excellent. I'm going to go cast Mold Earth.
You uncover more wall.
I begin to be concerned.
Dirkia makes a keep going motion with their forelimb.
Longtip is going to keep going.
Okay, you uncover more wall, then more wall, then more wall,
Perhaps.
then tunnel. See? Told you.
I was becoming concerned that I was on the wrong elevation and that there was a slope that had existed at one point.
Oh, no, I knew where it was. I could hear the echo when I stomped down.
You have good ears.
Have you noticed I'm a dragon?
Uh-huh. Sori practices her very best, fairly high charisma, adoring look.
Give me a persuasion check. Actually, I can make you roll for that.
Is that
one.
performance? Persuasion or performance?
You know what? Let's go with performance.
Actually, persuasion would be better, but...
No, you convinced me the lower roll.
Okay. I mean, she is being fairly sincere about this.
Well, that's a nat
Natural
20. Look, you see, this one gets it. This one gets it, everyone. There are people who could not hear any of the conversation, who just are looking over at the dragon, yelling and pointing to Sori.
Who is looking up and looking adorable and like someone who gets it. I mean, what's her charisma? 16? That's pretty good.
It's a decent charisma.
Yeah.
Aided by a nat 20.
Yeah. So she probably looks cute anyway.
It could be that some of the stuff that Sori has forgotten about her life, still, it was like muscle memory for your brain. The brain is not a muscle, but never mind about that.
Reflex.
Yeah, there was a reflex involved. Anyway, if you can get the car thing closer, I can probably move it over for you real quick.
Are we going to do that?
We thank you greatly for your assistance in this matter.
Can we get the car closer? And will it?
It has
Go.
controls to move and stop. So you can make it move forward, you can make it move backward, you can make it stop moving. As something that runs on rails, it doesn't really need more controls.
True. If it will move slowly forward, we may have to shape Earth to make the track a little bit better or something.
That or Dirkia equips a giant catcher's mitt and positions themselves in front of the tunnel.
The other thing we might want to consider doing is wait a couple of days, because we might want to send the car back with an explanation of what we found, and that they might need to send another car along because of lack of unity right here, because it needs a bridge, so that they can communicate with everybody else.
The longer we stay in one place, the more vulnerable we make ourselves and whoever. And
oh, yeah. Okay. It's a really, really long trip, so yeah. Maybe we can teach them mold earth, and they could eventually make a caravan with like mushrooms or something. Right. Never mind.
I mean, we do have spellcasters. We're not barbarians.
That's true. They need bacon to get any spell slots.
Someone else that's nearby says, the barbarians have spellcasters too. Just saying.
But how do they cast while they are raging?
They don't all rage.
Then how are they barbarians?
Some of them had anger management issues, but others got counseling.
Oh, okay.
Do they get the benefits against bludgeoning if they're not angry?
Well, they're probably still strong. Right?
For the record, you have encountered a faction called the Pertinaxians. They were the first group you encountered, who tend to be seen as barbarians by the other factions.
Doesn't mean that we're not going to be confusing.
I was just making a joke about. I got what you meant. I was just making a joke about the barbarian class.
And I was yes-anding it.
Okay. And we were obnoxious.
But also, it'd been a while. It has been quite some time since you had any dealings with the Pertinaxians, so I thought I'd bring it up. At the point where I thought, okay, well, we've done the joke, now let's actually put some context in.
It was pertinent.
Yes.
Yeah, but we're going to give this plotline the axe.
Yep. Yeah, we should probably move the car over, since it's probably a long way and we don't want to just walk.
Okay, I am going to not roleplay the steps through getting the car lined up on the opposite track. I will say it gets done. I will say there is a few moments that could have been interesting, but they did not end up being interesting.
Thank goodness.
This is for the best.
Yes. We did not want to have to float the thing across the lake and then try to repair it after.
And Dirkia didn't mind doing this in part because you, as Dirkia is happy to point out, you did blow up Hightower. No one is required to make a perception check to see how much Maury flinches every time Dirkia brings this up. It has been brought up more than once.
Poor
and,
Maury.
and also, Dirkia, technically negotiations haven't concluded yet, but humans need to do silly things like, sleep. So, so do dragons, but they don't need to sleep as often. I guess they make up for it by sleeping longer, but never mind about that. So Dirkia is waiting for Rue, who is the leader of the Moon-touched Karasites, to get their beauty rest before they continue negotiations. But they seem to be going well. While the various humanoids that are not kobolds, culturally or physically, in the area are still kind of wary of big blue dragon that was sending lightning bolts at us. Things seem to be a little less tense than when there was the running and screaming thing.
That's good.
Fingers crossed that this will persist after we're gone. Not that we defeated the
we can't
dragon.
do anything about it when we're gone, so it's kind of on them.
There was a tense moment. There was one tense moment where it's found out later it was on a dare that one child tried to climb onto Dirkia's tail. It was the only part of Dirkia that they could actually try to climb on. And there was a roar. There may have been a child that was a few feet back further after the roar.
Oh, wow.
And it was not attempted again.
And Sori did probably some scolding and saying that you don't touch the dragon without permission, and you have to say, Lord Dragon, may I please polish your scales?
So oftentimes they're smiling and nodding. When there's no comprehension, you do not get the smiles or the nods, just mostly wide eyes. When the children are out of earshot, Dirkia does give a low chuckle.
I, for one, am glad that things are less tense because these people deserve permanent dwellings.
Yes, indeed.
They would consider that to be very insulting. And as soon as you said less tense, I knew exactly where you were going, and I bought my ticket for that ride. That was good. Okay, the train has been
There's
moved.
one of them that's a wigwam and a teepee.
That's just too tense.
He's just too tense.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Ellie, I love you, but I am going to say this in an exasperated manner.
That joke is older than at least some of the people playing this game right now.
Oh, it's older than I am.
I think it's older than I am.
So
Quite
if we
possible.
leveled up, did we long rest?
Yes, everyone
Yeah.
long rested.
And we found where the long rest button was on Foundry.
Yes.
Mhm.
Well, you found it and shared the information.
Yes. Ellie
I've
found
already
it
forgot, but that's okay.
under hit dice.
Ah.
Okay.
Okay. So the train car is in place. This adventure is going back on the rails.
Yep.
That's a new one.
It was off the rails for a while.
DM? Crash, are you a railroad DM?
I mean, you were gonna possibly fight the dragon, and instead you brokered a peace. So
Yeah.
The dragon was clearly not something we could fight.
that has historically not always stopped people in my campaigns.
I mean, true.
Yes, a caster was almost one-shotted. And yes, technically you're all casters.
Yeah.
Some of you may have been about to die, but that was a price I was willing to pay.
Mm-hmm.
Because then we'd start season 5 of Pack Tactics.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of kobolds.
You know, there are some things that I've never gotten to do in a D&D campaign, and have a TPK as one of them. Are
I mean,
you denying me new experiences?
You did kind of TPK the
Yeah.
lot. You just started with the TPK.
Yeah.
I only killed one of the people in that game, though. Because I killed Chris's
Never-
character in the previous campaign.
Nevertheless, all of the characters were dead when they started.
Yes, but for all the
Oh,
characters
now I
but
know what you're talking about.
Chris's, for all the characters but Chris's, they were killed as part of their backstory. Therefore, I didn't do it. You can't pin that one on me.
It was the premise of the game that they had to have died. Therefore, you killed them all.
Speaking of games.
Speaking of games, back to the rails. Did I just hear a train?
Yes.
That's
Ellie,
funny.
perfect
That's-
timing.
It is
There
rare
is
for
a
me to
train
hear that
somewhere
train.
near where I live, so yeah.
Jen, perfect timing.
Mhm.
It is rare to hear that, so hearing it now is fantastic.
It's
Used
good
to hear it a
timing
lot
for the
more
train.
frequently.
Yeah.
And then I took a train ride down to Florida pre-pandemic to visit friends. And the whole time, every time I heard the train whistle go, I thought, sorry, Jen. You were on the other side of the country the entire time. Didn't matter.
Yes. Mhm.
Anyway, all right, you're back on the rails.
Mhm.
And I assume you go forward.
Hoping that we have not broken the safeties that will make it slow down if we encounter anything bad.
Oh, don't worry, I'll let you know.
Right.
Would you deny me that first experience of a TPK?
Yes, if I could roll properly.
How do you
Sori's
roll a
the
save?
healer.
How do you roll a save for hitting an avalanche at just below the speed of sound?
Prayer.
To which god?
Whichever one will listen.
It's Sori begins to pray. A pop-up appears. Which deity would you like to pray to? Sori clicks select all.
Yes.
Yeah.
I watched an actual play game where this was actually attempted by one of the players. And do you know that Asmodeus is technically a deity?
Yeah.
The only devil who is.
Mhm.
Well, the DM of that campaign knew that as well.
I mean,
Oh my.
if you're gonna pray that desperately, you might be willing to do a little soul barter here. Anyway, hopefully we don't
Anyway.
go splat. No splat.
No splat. There is a crash, but that's just because he's running the game.
Mhm.
All right, so after a while, the track starts to angle down. A little bit steeper.
Uh-oh.
A little bit steeper. Okay, that's a little bit steeper. The front wall is now the floor.
Oh.
Still on the rails.
Still on the rails. What you can
Is it-
see of the blurry track is still blurry track.
What's going on?
The car is now aimed pretty much straight down.
It's at just enough of an angle to make walking on the front wall of the car, which is now the floor, be a little uncomfortable.
Everyone is sitting on the front corners.
Probably.
Hopefully we made sure that the buttons to make it stop are still accessible. But I guess we're still going. Are we still going?
It becomes clear that the buttons, which were part of the design of the car,
Uh-huh.
are positioned in a location where before it just looked like it was an aesthetic choice, but now it's kind of obvious they were put there intentionally because they are accessible no matter which end of the car is up.
In that case, I'm going to assume that what is currently happening is understood
Intended.
and designed for.
Gravity starts increasing.
That seems. Oh, yes, physics.
You turn into physics.
No!
Technically, you were all physics already.
I was about to say, we're all already physics.
Yeah, you do not turn into light, you turn into gravity. Tune into the next campaign where everyone turns into mass.
I thought we were mass.
Weren't we already?
A Catholic priest comes by. Wait, no, wrong kind of mass.
See, that was in my head. Raised that.
I mean,
Is
I
it
was
sick?
discussing
Yeah.
clerics.
So is
True,
this
true.
is this because the train is slowing down and we're feel heavier, or are we just like getting closer
That-
to the center of the earth?
That seems to, well, if you're getting close to the center of Earth, one, I'd be very concerned because you're not on Earth.
Good point.
That would require some means of travel that I have not described to you. And yes, I know that's not what you meant, but I went there anyway because it was funny to me.
Mhm.
But you're very cosmopolitan, kobolds, in that your kobold civilization knows space travel.
Mhm.
So I would argue that you've been in at least one elevator before, so you are aware of the sensation. However, you were going very, very fast for a very long time. So this deceleration, while not enough to like blast you to the floor, is it gets to be a little uncomfortable with how long the deceleration takes place.
We are pulling G's.
Yes. But then it starts to let off.
Fortunately, we had some pillows.
And let off. And let off.
If we start floating, I'm going to be concerned.
You are allowed to be concerned now.
Oh,
I don't.
Fascinating.
You've come to a stop.
But are we in free fall?
Well, Maury is currently in the middle of the car, more than an arm's reach from anything else in the car, with a look of terror on her face.
Longcap summons a mage hand and offers it to her. The fact that this mage hand looks like the same skeletal hand that Longcap uses to cast Chill Touch may not be reassuring.
Well, here's the thing. Remember, Maury was raised as a Xenolite.
Indeed.
She grabs onto that spectral hand like it is a lifeline.
Excellent. I have never been quite sure how Maury feels about undead-looking things. Longcap is going to use the mage hand to slowly pull Maury over towards the wall. Yes, the hand can't carry more than 10 pounds, but given that Maury is floating, I do not think Maury currently weighs any pounds.
You are able to move Maury very slowly towards the wall. And while Maury might not be a fan of the undead because of her upbringing, Maury is much less a fan of being trapped weightless under who knows how many tons of rock far from home. Maury... Sorry?
I did not mean to interrupt you.
Go right ahead.
I was going to say the player is pretty sure she knows what's going on. The character, I'm not sure. And we don't have a physics skill to roll against.
This is true, and
Insight?
none of you came in to this with a science background other than history.
I have Arcana.
And physics is pretty arcane.
Well, this is not sufficiently advanced technology.
Do we seem to be stopped as in what's in our we have windows, right?
There
window.
is a cavern outside. You can
Is
see
it
through the
moving?
windows no, everything is still.
And
But-
we have no weight.
You have no weight. There is no light, but cobots see by vibration, and kobolds have dark vision. So why would there be lights? Maury trades her white knuckle grip from the spectral hand to the safety railings on the side of the car.
Now we know why we have safety railings.
Can I see as far as the walls?
Yes, the cavern that is on the other side of the door goes off into the distance. It's fairly wide. You could probably fit this car through it if the rails went that way, but they don't.
Maybe we should secure everything to the safety railings in here, and then so nothing falls out, and then open the door.
You know, come to think of it, when you were initially provided supplies for the journey,
We got a lot of bungee cords?
the cobots who moved things into here did make a point of fastening everything down. And when they did that, what you probably thought was, we're going to be going very, very fast. So that's why you put on seatbelts for your equipment. But apparently it also works for 0G.
Yeah. So how much rope do we have?
I have 50 feet. And
Well-
if everybody else can see the edge of the cavern, then that's plenty of room.
I
Or-
can also cast Floating Disc. It will not move while I am close to it, but it means that I could, if others held on to the floating disc and the rope, tow somewhat.
For the record, Maury does know the light cantrip, but Maury has not cast it. However, anyone looking in Maury's direction is also aware that Maury's eyes are closed tightly shut.
Yeah, that's fair. I have, not to step on anyone's toes, I'm going to tie a rope to a railing inside the car, and then I'm going to tie the other end to me. Excuse me.
well, I don't have rope, so go ahead.
I do.
Good.
And then I'm going to jump for one of the cavern walls that I can see.
I'm not even going to require a roll. The cavern walls are right there. And worst case scenario, you would miss. Like, if you roll a nat 1, you would have missed so badly that you would have gone straight down the middle of the cavern. But anyone could have tugged on the rope just a little bit, even you. And then you'd be back to try again. So
Right.
we'll say yes, you get to the cavern wall.
And then I cast Spider Climb.
Useful. Drat, I don't have that one.
Deza has a particular set of skills. Thank you, I'm here all week. I am trying to find your passive perception.
My passive perception
Yeah.
is 12.
Okay. Then give me a perception check. Let me press the button for that. No, that is not who I'm sending the roll to. I could try sending the roll to Longkept, but that would not help in the situation for multiple reasons.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, with an 11, that's below your passive perception, so I will say
I'm gonna spend my inspiration.
okay. Okay. With the 15, you definitely hear some tapping. It's off in the distance, it's very faint, but there is tapping.
That
Okay.
probably means there's.
That almost certainly means there's cobots down there.
We just need to make friends with them.
My phone
Well,
started itself. I completely missed what Deza was saying.
Deza tied a rope to herself and jumped out of the car and then cast Spider Climb to stick to the walls.
And here's tapping.
And I hear tapping from down the hallway. And I'm going to definitely get their attention because I'm going to hammer a piton into the wall so I can attach the rope to it.
The tapping gets faster.
Tapping intensifies.
Yes. Tapping intensifies. And it seems to get more random, but you already know that they use tapping to communicate with, from cobot to cobot.
I don't suppose we learned any kind of code for friend.
Nope.
You did learn that the more intelligent cobots speak Draconic.
Oh, that's easier.
And
I
all the
could find
kobolds.
one.
Oh, Deza wants is the one who's hearing this wants to holler hello down there.
The rest of you are all hanging out in the train car unless you tell me otherwise.
That's what Sori's doing, hanging out in the train car.
Mori thinks that's a brilliant idea. Also, Mori thinks if you press the button to go backwards, that would be good too.
Yes, but then
Something I could do, but it would depend on whether ghosts can choose not to move through other creatures like their difficult terrain.
That is interesting.
I think unless there is text in the stat block that says that it can become corporeal or do physical damage to something, ghosts are non-corporeal. So therefore, they can't provide anyone a boost or a push.
you could put smallest Kep on the floating disc and move the floating disc around and then look through smallest Kep's eyes.
I mean, the ghostly one isn't resistant to kinetic damage or anything.
Oh, you're talking about familiar types.
Kind of.
What would you like to do?
So I have the spell.
That's gonna be good.
Which spell?
Well, Maury's not going to like it. Let me.
When you have an I don't like this flavored cake, putting an I don't like this flavored icing on top of it changes very little.
Yeah, that's fair. Let me provide the text of the spell.
Well, just tell me which one because I've got your spell list open.
Summon undead.
Summon undead.
Oh.
Interesting.
You call forth an undead spirit. It manifests in an unoccupied space. This corporeal form uses the undead spirit stat block. When you cast the spell, choose the creature's form, ghostly, putrid, or skeletal. Which one do you intend to pick?
I mean, I was asking
I think-
questions about ghosts.
Okay.
Okay, so here's my thought.
Mhm.
The text says, the spirit can move through other creatures and objects as if they were difficult terrain. It doesn't say, the spirit moves through other creatures and objects as if they were difficult terrain.
I mean, it doesn't have
phrasing-
to move. Sorry.
The phrasing can move implies that it's optional.
I think the option is whether it moves through other creatures and objects. If it's not moving through them, then it probably has normal terrain.
That's how I would interpret it as well, yes.
Basically, what I'm asking is if a ghost is capable of picking me up.
Okay.
Oh.
Or rather,
So
whether this ghost is.
so what I'm doing is I'm looking at the attack options to see what
The
types
ghost
of
has a
damage
touch
they do.
attack.
It's got
Um,
rotting claw. Oh
necrotic-
no, that's for
it
putrid.
can
It's
do
definitely
Putrid can do slashing damage.
yeah, but that's the putrid style of undead. That's not
Yeah.
a. The
So-
ghostly one has deathly touch, but that doesn't say whether it can. That does magic necrotic damage. So
Yeah.
But it's not resistant to kinetic damage, so other things can touch it.
Mm.
I see the reasoning there. If it doesn't have
Why did I say
resistances-
kinetic damage? That's Star Wars 5e.
Because
It is
No.
not resistant to slashing or piercing.
Well, yeah,
Or
saying
bludgeoning.
kinetic means okay. Well, bludgeoning,
Yeah.
slashing, piercing. It's
Yeah.
here is this box of miscellaneous damages that I just tossed them all in here.
Yeah.
Anything in here is fine. What's this? Oh, I've been looking for that sock. Get back
The
in it.
damage!
Sock damage. Yeah,
You saying it can't be socked?
I think
It
the
can be,
soft
is the problem.
damage is the putrid type.
Hmm.
well, it depends on if it's been. It depends on if it got lost before the laundry or got lost in the dryer. My money's on getting lost in the dryer because where else do you lose the socks?
Oh, true.
Now we know
Gripping
where
hand.
socks in the dryer actually end up in the damage box.
Mm.
On the gripping hand, there's now a rope bridge that Longcap can just pull themselves along.
As Longcap spends time considering the pros and cons of summoning a spectral entity, a ghost, to assist them with traveling through this dark void of zero gravity, they look up to see there's a bridge. And Dazal just hanging out on the other side of it.
Yo.
That would be easier. In Longcap's defense, Longcap does not have dark vision.
Could Mori maybe cast a light on something for Longcap?
It's all right. Longcap has a lantern. Longcap will
Okay.
turn on their lantern.
Why not cast light inside the lantern, and then if it's one that can shield, you have options.
I can cast light.
Yeah, Utashi and Mori can both cast light. The only difficulty with it is light. The cantrip does not last nearly as long as a lantern will last, if I remember correctly.
Ah, okay.
Details.
So- It's at the cost of fuel.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have to keep going. Oh yeah, I renewed the light cantrip,
Mhm. Okay.
How long does it
and
last?
I renewed the light cantrip.
Lantern burns for
ah.
6 hours.
Yeah, this doesn't.
Mhm.
How long
1
does it
hour.
last?
The tapping's
1
getting
hour.
closer,
Somebody tap back at it.
and it. You hear the tapping, and then it stops,
It's waiting
And
for us
there's-
to tap back.
and there's no sound, and then you hear the tapping significantly louder, and then it stops, and there's no sound.
I
That
am
is an
looking
answer.
down the tunnel and reminding the GM that my dark
You
vision
can see
extends to
very
120
far.
feet.
Yes, that is something I've learned to remember the hard way. You see a winged kobold form gliding silently down the tunnel
Oh,
up until it hits an outcropping of rock.
oops.
There is a thud sound, and then you see it somersault a few times, and eventually catch itself on a wall. It stays perfectly motionless, and then it reaches out and taps again.
Maybe we should say hello.
I am gonna
Intriconic.
take that bet. I say hello in Draconic.
What? Who's there?
We came from insert name of place we came from.
Yeah.
Actually, I have it written down. Where did I write it down?
Hmm.
You came from Moontush Crater.
Oh, I meant before that.
Oh, before
Where the
that.
car came from.
Oh, that is a different thing I've written down. You came from cohort 1024.
We came from cohort 1024. We have some stuff.
Huh. Well, why would you answer?
I don't know your tapping language.
All cobots know the typing language is built into cobots.
Oh, I'm not a cobot. I'm a kobold.
What now?
Like cobots, but meat.
That sounds disgusting.
You get used to it.
We all have our burdens to bear.
Well, 02097152 says you're okay. So, welcome to cohort 0512.
Who's
Hi.
the one who says we're okay?
Oh, my friend here, 0512-02097152. And they reach out a mechanical hand, and you see a cobot harvester with a screwdriver head in their hand.
Oh, neat.
Hey, buddy.
No, I guess I wouldn't be saying it. I'm just listening.
Did we bring one that we didn't know about?
If you did, you don't know about it.
True. I mean, it would have been sensible for them to send something along to make sure that we had a, but it wouldn't have jumped out, or might have. Where did that one come from? Who knows?
Anyway,
Maybe it's
it's nice to have some company. I've pretty much been all by myself here since everyone else is in stasis, waiting for word from, cohort 1024 or from further up the supply chain.
oh well.
We could use more helms.
We got words.
Well, that's great because we could use more ore. So if you brought any ore, we can turn it into helms.
That would be the
Uh,
problem, wouldn't it?
Well, we brought a bunch of stuff.
Oh, well, let's take a look.
Did we bring any ore?
And this particular cobot artificer, because the ones with wings are artificers, does a flying leap and uses its wings to glide through over to the car and pauses when they see Mori.
She's not ore. She's Mori. Says sorry.
It's okay. She's a friend.
Mori, through gritted teeth, says, "Please do not turn me into a helm." How would we do that?
We don't.
Exactly. Not much usable there. Anyway, here, hold this. And they just thrust their hand out with the harvester in it towards Longcap.
Longcap takes the harvester.
The harvester's little legs sort of flail back and forth.
Longcap pats the harvester.
While you're patting the harvester, the artificer is like taking the lids off of the various crates and looking in like, that's biologic. Why'd you bring so much food?
Because we had to eat food to, for the travel back and forth.
Oh, that's
It's-
right. You're made of meat.
It's a necessary fuel.
Meh. Yeah, takes all kinds, I guess. Won't catch me doing that, but whatever. Okay.
Of course not. You're not made of meat.
Darn tootin' I'm not.
Very shiny.
Why, thank you, I think. Not usually a lot of light in here, so shiny isn't really a big deal. Sure is nice to have someone to talk to besides 0512-0209975152.
How long
Who-
have you been by yourself?
What day is it?
I don't know.
Well, if I estimate, there is a considerable amount of tapping. Possibly counting. Well, my processor is starting to overheat. Several
That's
thousand
okay.
years at least.
Coming?
Since the several thousand years. Since
Oh.
something crunched a hole in the tunnel.
Oh, is that why word didn't get through?
Uh-huh.
Orbital bombardment.
Orbital bombardment? That's supposed to be a game?
We wish.
I don't think so.
Lots and lots of chromatic orbs.
Oof.
No, I did not say
Probably.
that in Garrett.
Pity. It probably was.
Now,
People.
totally non sequitur, but I'm suddenly thinking of millions and millions of chroma clones being dropped from orbit. You hear in unison, "My lungs are vacuum rated."
Yes, well, but what's gravity rated?
You know
Well,
full
speaking of-
well that if anyone's attempting this, the chromas have
It's
been
chroma.
equipped with some way of surviving the fall.
Indeed.
I think Chroma has a flight capability.
I mean, you do have a periapt of endless water that you used as a jet propulsion device.
Mhm.
Oh, right, that's what it was. Sorry, Ellie, we didn't mean to interrupt you.
It's fine. I didn't want to interrupt the enjoyment. Speaking of being gravity rated, I am going to take a tour around our surroundings and see what they look like.
Okay, so you head off down the tunnel?
No. I'm around. So I'm assuming we came down a shaft.
Pretty much, yes. And it opens into
wanna
this cavern, which
So
has
I want to see what the circumference of the shaft is and how far down it goes.
there's actually multiple shafts that all open into this cavern. They appear to be mostly running parallel, although they might branch off after a certain distance. A few of them go up, but most of them go down.
Neat.
There are alcoves in this cavern that would have been hard to see from inside the car with how far back they are, but they do appear to be like temporary storage areas. There's a few platforms in them that look the right size to hold several of the kind of crate that are in the car, although they currently don't have anything on them.
Gotcha. Does my keen mind feat allow me to know which direction we came from?
Up.
Okay. So I'm going to take out a piece of chalk and draw an up arrow. Or if I can identify the tunnel that we came from, make a mark at that tunnel so that we know which one we came from.
Oh, certainly. The tunnel you came from, there's a car in it right now. So that's
we aren't
obvious.
all the way in.
But what if you came back and there wasn't? Making the mark is a good idea.
Right. I also am going to ask our Cobot friend if he can say in Draconic what he was saying with the tapping.
Oh, I was saying, hi, welcome to cohort 0512. My name is 0512-00000314. I think I said the right number of zeros there. You forget after a while. And I was asking who you were.
Thank you. And can we call you 314?
I mean, you are physically able to.
May
Would
we
you
call
understand-
314?
You can take the teacher out of the classroom, but you cannot take the classroom out of the teacher. You realize this when you ask, can I or may I? But also, it's if it's not obvious, 314 has been mostly alone for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And his only friend is a non-sentient machine.
Yeah.
So,
Also, the correct answer to it. So there's can I, there's may I. There's also, some people also say, shall I? To which the only correct response is, I have no control over that.
Isn't shall a should?
Why? But let's grammar.
so long as shallots
Shall-
aren't involved.
Shall implies a future. Shall implies a future action, which shall implies a future action. Will implies a future action in which decision making.
Hello and welcome to Grammarcast. This is weird. Usually a tabletop role-playing game podcast is a math cast.
I like the episode where they talked about grammar for a long time.
I love that Game Grumps finally did a 10-minute power hour where they just ate mac and cheese. Granted, it was horrible flavors of mac and cheese and it was disgusting. Some of it was expired, but still.
Oh, that's not a good idea.
No.
You don't watch the 10-minute power hour for the feeling of accomplishment where everyone did the right thing. You watch it for the
The
train
number
wreck
of
it is.
people eating expired food from mom.
To be fair, most of it didn't stay ingested for long.
Oh, that's not good either.
They had paper
no.
towels that they removed it from their mouths.
Hmm.
Anyway, moving forward to more pleasant topics. So, wait, you could just... Well, I suppose I'm the only one active right now whose designation ends in 314. That makes it a lot faster to say in Draconic.
Yeah,
It does.
that's the problem.
Huh. I never thought about that before. For the briefest of moments, it looks like there's a light bulb going off over top of 314's head, but actually just the angle that they're facing off in the distance, sort of slightly behind 314, you see Longcap holding their lantern.
I'm going to write down what 314 said and the pattern of taps.
What are you doing now?
Most of my memory is short term and fades.
Ah,
Writing things down lets me have an outboard brain.
Nice. Granted, as a mechanical, I don't have to worry about that. I have a brilliant mind. It's how I'm able to remember how many years I've been here and how many zeros there are in my designation. And did you tell me who you were?
My name's Deza.
I'm
That's
sorry.
Longcap. That's Sori. That's Utashi.
Hi.
And that's Maury.
Charmed, I'm sure. Is it
Poor
just me, or
Maury.
has Maury had a bad day?
Maury
Very.
has had a bad day.
Yeah.
And I should expand on that because I know that cobots appreciate having the full name of things. Maury is actually Maury Povicevich.
I'm here for the joke, but also there's a canonical reason why you have not heard a surname for any NPC I've introduced to you.
Oh, I know.
Also, don't call Maury that. Povich is her father's name.
Right. So
Right.
she's Povicevich.
No, Maury Makpovich.
Valid. Actually, if you're doing the true bit, it's Nick, not Mac. Mac is son of and Nick is daughter of.
I sit corrected,
Hmm.
because if I stand, I'll be too
to
far away
look
from
that
the
up for the
microphone.
essay once. I had to look that up for the essay one time.
Nice. This continues to be the language cast. I'm here for this content.
I like the episode where they talked about names for a long time.
Well, you know
Did
what?
we bring any ore? Sorry.
We have been talking for a long time. What do you say we take a
Mhm.
short break?
Oh, good idea.
Okay. Yeah.
In the meantime, you look and see if you brought any ore. Spoiler, you did not.
Whoops.
Okay.
Be right back. And we're back. And you don't have any ore with you.
Which place did the ore usually come from?
Down.
And we came from up, so it's only reasonable that we don't have any ore.
Well, it was worth a shot.
It was worth a shot.
Could have taken the long way around. If you had taken the long way around, that would explain why it took so long.
Well, no, we had to get someone to move the car over because there's not a bridge.
The what now?
We came in this thing, the car, the
oh,
train
yeah, I
car.
know what this is, but why would you need a bridge?
Because where there used to be a tunnel, now there's a crater?
That seems prone to structural instability.
Yeah. And there's no train tracks through the crater.
Did you try making the car go fast enough to have it make a jump?
No. I think someone needs to build a bridge.
Well, that's not my specialty, so I'll leave it to somebody else.
We'll have to ask someone eventually because I don't think having a very large flying friend transport the car across each time is a sustainable workaround.
I mean, down here it would be.
Right. Up there, there's gravity.
I mean, there's gravity here too. It's just microgravity.
Why is there only microgravity here?
Oh, because we're in the middle
Of
of the shell.
the shell. Of?
You're not from around here, are you?
Uh-uh.
Okay. So how much do you know about helm creation?
You make the helm, and then when people sit on it, it takes all the spells, and they can make the ship go.
All right. Well, you know more than I'm gonna call him 152. What do you think about 152?
Wiggles in Longcap's hand.
There is no movement at all.
Oh,
Ah, I'm glad you like it, 152. Excellent. There was no tapping. Right. So, sorry, I got distracted by naming 152 152.
understandable.
No, your name isn't 152 152. It's just 152. Yes, I know your actual name is longer. It's so I can speak to you in Draconic and not take 2 years. Yes, I know we're effectively immortal.
We're
Yeah, exactly. What the meatbag said. They're not.
meat pack. I'm a very tidy little meat.
Package.
It is true that we are
Reticule.
less efficient than Koba due to being a, let us say, prototype example.
Okay.
The shell?
I don't have the things to show you here to explain it. So, follow me. 314 flies off down the tunnel.
We're going to have to go a little... Where does the gravity start again?
Up or down?
So if we don't go in the tunnels, we're okay?
Yeah, I wouldn't fly down. Or actually, if you do, it'll sort of just push you back down this way.
I don't
That's fine.
understand.
They are out of sight. Well, of
Oh.
everyone except Deza.
Okay.
Hey, you're moving too fast. We can't follow you at that speed.
We don't have wings.
There aren't exactly any turns.
Ari,
And
do you want to come with us?
Tumble, 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 tumble.
You know what? That's canonical. And they are actually correct. There are no actual turns. There are alcoves that might look like tunnels, but when you get closer, you see that they don't branch off in any direction. It's just additional storage, which is currently empty.
Okay, we'll catch up.
You want to come with us?
You keep cutting out at the beginning and end of your sentences, so I'm assuming you said, Maury, do you want to come with us?
Correct.
Okay. 'Cause
Maury, do you want
there
to
was
come
no
with us?
name.
Beth had said earlier that she was talking to Maury.
Okay. Maury kind of like opens one eye and looks over at Sori's direction.
Wave.
I don't really, but I also don't want to be here alone in the dark. So
Hold out a hand. Apparently, we can't actually fall down and go splat easily, so
Earlier today.
now I'm just thinking about falling down and going splat. So thank you.
we can't. I think that what's being explained is that we actually can't.
Hold on to the rope.
You know what I've been told my whole life?
Underground is terrible?
That no one could ever destroy High Temple.
Oh.
It's not destroyed, it's just a little damaged.
The most important part.
Oh,
So forgive me if I'm not keen on people saying this cannot happen, because the part that I believe the most about, nope, everything else might go wrong, but this one thing, we got too many people trying to make it be the right thing. I am hearing audio in the background. Is
yes,
that-
you're getting EO's. There are people in the kitchen with EO.
Okay. Someone's in the
EO,
kitchen
do
with
you-
EO?
EO,
Someone's
do you
in
want
the
to
kitchen
come?
we know, whoa.
Yeah, something like. EO, do you want to come and sit on the couch over here?
I mean, if I do that, then we're going to echo at each other.
Maybe.
Does anybody else have a rope?
Nope. Mm-mm.
There is actually rope in one of the crates.
Oh.
Hi, Jen.
I guess we should do a lot
I-
of rope. Cat appeared. I guess we should do a lot of rope stringing around. And Maury, I'll hold your hand.
Everyone hold on to the rope. This is pre-K all over again.
Mm-hmm.
There's already a rope.
Yes,
What I wanted
Yeah, well-
to
it's been
do
turned into a bridge.
was tie the rope around Maury's waist, and then tie a loose hitch with the other end around the existing rope. So that way, if the gravity suddenly turns back on, there will still be. She's not just going to go flying out into the down.
May need a whole lot of rope.
314 would probably be very crass about pointing out that the gravity is not going to just turn back on. But 314 has headed off in the distance already. And the thing about irrational fears is that they are irrational. So providing a safety line for Maury is very much appreciated by Maury. Also, how would Maury know that this is an irrational fear? Maury, a month ago, wouldn't have known that talking tiny dragons were a thing.
Let alone robot versions of them.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone showed up and tried to explain that there is a universe with talking ponies that are all friends with each other, Maury would be like, okay. Not even a roll to disbelieve.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So eventually you make it to a set of very large doors that gleam bronze in the lantern light. And 314 is in front of it doing some complex tapping in different spots. I always forget where over here? No. Oh, silly me. It was half an inch over. Who could forget something like that? All right, here we go. And the doors swing outward, knocking 314 back a bit. But I will say none of you was close enough for that to be a problem. For some reason, you all instinctively do keep your distance from 314 when 314 is messing with something weird. Don't question it. It's fine. And what's inside is something the likes of which you might say you've seen something like it before, but never on this planet.
What is it?
Let's see if it actually
Giant.
loads.
Are we loading it on Foundry?
Yes.
I think so. Oh,
I see darkness.
give it a
My
minute.
old friend.
Indeed.
Stream is stream.
Oh, yeah, hit the stream so it.
Give me a moment. Wrong window. Why do we even have that window?
Where's Maury?
Back in the darkness. She can't see.
Okay. Yeah, okay. There she is. All right.
Hit reload.
Come on, Crash. You've done this before.
Actually, I probably
Picture.
shouldn't have been the one to take the screenshot since I can see farther than everybody else.
Well, I am going to provide what will hopefully be a better view for everyone as well.
Oh,
It looks
That's a throne room.
There are machinery everywhere.
Hmm.
There are gears that are turning, going in and out of the spaces. There's vials that seem to have bubbling liquid in them that are moving down conveyor belts. There's tubes that have cylinders sliding through them quickly. There's a ton of stuff that would probably make Chroma never want to leave. Fortunately, Chroma's not here.
indeed. Chroma
And-
is somewhere else trying to keep kobold inventors from blowing up the moon.
Are those stairs that we have
I-
access to?
Those are stairs. You can go anywhere you want on this map. There's no secrets built into it.
I can't go anywhere I want on this map because it keeps telling me I've collided with a wall.
That's weird.
Anyway, Deza will run up the stairs and look around.
Apparently, I just put a light source on Deza. No.
Hooray!
This little the dark brown orange stuff is a wall.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, I just wanted to show this as a picture, but it doesn't work properly. But never mind about that. Anyway,
Mhm.
Ooh.
314 leads you over to it. It's not really big on this map as a thing, but it is an orb that's over kind of recessed into a wall. Right. So here we go. This should do it. And they start tapping on a panel below the orb in a complex pattern, and then the orb starts to spin.
Oh.
And parts of it start to lift up while other parts start to recede. Texture gets added, and what was previously a featureless flat surface is now a topological globe of the planet. So, we are here. Well, not here technically. We're way down below this. But anyway, if we cut the planet in half, it would be a major global disaster. But if we could avoid that when we cut the planet in half, it would look something like this. And the orb splits in half, opens up on both sides, and it's hollow in the inside. The crust is rather thick, but not thick enough to go all the way into a mantle. There is no mantle. There is no core.
Is there gravity here? Are we still floating? Well,
Yes.
Is everybody else still floating?
Everyone should still be floating, yes.
Okay.
If it hasn't been more than an hour, then Deza is not still floating.
Deza is spider climbing.
It has not been more than an hour. It has been 59 minutes and 31 seconds, 32 seconds.
Oh,
I'm
no.
joking. Right. So, we're actually here. And 314 points out a spot roughly right halfway through the crust layer.
Gravity.
Fascinating.
Yep.
And the gravity drops out that quickly.
Well, we got equal mass above us and below us. So, yeah. It's one. If you're on one side, it's gravity pulling you down. On the other side, it's centrifugal force pushing you out because of the spin. But the whole mechanism is for like refining things. If you melt metals, you get rid of impurities. So if you melt them again, you get rid of more. So what happens is on the inside, we've got cohorts that are refining materials and gathering the purest of ores and stuff, handling that and sending it to the factories. But anything that isn't up to standards, they basically just toss into recycling. I mean, it comes out of these spots out here and gets tossed down, and it takes a few centuries or so, but eventually it gets put back through here. So basically what 304 is describing is when the volcanoes erupt, they're not just spewing out lava, they're spewing out metals that get washed down through the planet into the very thin oceans and then pushed down through the tectonic plates to where it's harvested again.
Ah,
I want to make sure that I understood something correctly. It was a sphere, a globe.
Yes. There's nothing actually holding it in place. It's hovering where it is.
Okay.
Anyway, it's not the most efficient means of construction. I mean, eventually you end up using all the ore, so more has to be brought in from the elemental plane of Earth, and it takes a long way for it to make a round trip. But someone thought it was a good idea, so that's what we do. Or what we would do if something wasn't gumming up the works.
I don't
So
know.
you
I know a really quick way to get the astral plane.
Let's not.
The last I checked, the astral plane didn't have a lot of ore.
I'm just saying.
So, are you not having ore delivered, or
Yes, ore specifically is not being delivered. You're right.
yes? Was that a deliberate thing, or did it just stop?
Well, I don't know if it was delivered or not, but it did stop.
So
Do you have any helms?
the station, the
Hmm.
stations below us need to start producing ore again.
Yep.
All right. Well, we came from up.
And if you leave, you're going up either way.
Sun side up.
Oh, there's a sun on the other side too.
What?
Yeah. I mean, it isn't recreated here because it'd be a really bright light source, like right in the middle. That'd be a problem. Hard to maintain.
There's a what? Not there's what?
There-
what?
there's
What? Now?
There's a sun in the middle of the planet. Yeah.
There's a sun on the one side and a sun in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Are there people on the middle, on the inner shell?
Oh, I've never been there, but someone gets the ore, and someone tosses into recycling,
Oh.
or did. So there might not be people there now.
Do we have enough food for this?
We still apparently have plenty of food.
I think you're at the level now where you can create food and water if you want to.
We are, but I don't think anybody actually has it.
No one prepared it, but you have enough food to last a day and a night. And if you can last
Oh,
a day and a
and-
night, then it's fine.
And Utashi can swap out their spells.
Yep, because you have more than one
And-
cleric in the party,
Right. Oh, right. And sorry.
and Mori, technically.
And Mori.
But yeah.
Yeah, I have create or destroy water.
I have the
Oh.
water one. We don't have create food. We have purify food.
I
I
don't
don't.
have that. I don't have that. I didn't see it.
I mean, I didn't take it, but I have that as an option.
Okay.
How tall is the ceiling here?
Well, the ceiling looks like the floor, and there's about in the narrowest spots is about 20 feet between what you see on this map and a mirror image of it stuck to what would be considered the ceiling from this point of view.
Okay. Well, then Deza's going to pace back and forth on the wall.
Valid.
53 minutes 48 seconds, 53 minutes 49 seconds. Hey, I just cleaned that 50 or so years ago. Actually, no, I cleaned that well over there. Never mind. That's fine.
Take a step, prestidigitation. Take a step, prestidigitation.
The slowest pacing ever.
Mm-hmm.
You could clean a 10-foot space. You could go back and forth and then press, but never mind.
Yeah, I'll hold off on the prestidigitation until I'm done pacing.
Then you will polish this gleaming bronze wall to shine like the top of the Chrysler building, which is not a building you've ever seen, but you imagine it would shine, maybe.
All right. First of all, I'm making diagrams in my book of Earth diagram that we've just seen, or the planet diagram that we've just seen.
Seem to have create food and water yet. It says third level, but well, D&D Beyond won't let me have it anyway.
Because you have all your spells prepared already. You have to unprepare one, and then you can add more.
Oh, I have to prepare one of the lower level spells in order to prepare one of these. Okay.
Well,
You can have you can have X total spells prepared.
oh,
yeah,
okay.
the number of spells you can prepare is different from the number of spells you can cast.
Oh.
Even
Because
work
you can
for
also cast a
warlocks.
low-level spell at a higher level sometimes.
In that case, I'm going to change around a few things pretty soon.
There is
I
plotting
don't get my
involved.
third spell slot until level 11.
To be fair, you always cast your spells at max level, and you have cantrips. Many cantrips. And also, apparently, you can defeat dragons with a history lecture.
Also true.
That's a special one.
I have a specific set of skills.
Mhm.
It's really weird. The skill is actually written on Deza's character sheet. defeat dragon with history lecture. You'd think it wouldn't come up in most situations,
Yep.
but it's amazing how many dragons I throw at parties.
Yeah.
Indeed.
None.
Right
They're
from the
very
beginning.
big. You can't throw them. They're very heavy.
Yeah.
Also, I don't go to parties.
Mm.
What you should do is throw parties at dragons.
I think that's what he
He
did.
tried that.
And then you made friends.
Yeah.
I guess we rest here and prepare to be able to create food and water, and then we need to find a car that's going to where the ore comes from.
Oh, you need food? We got food.
For humans?
Meat food.
For meat?
Well, it's
And
not
humans.
meat, it's grain, but yeah,
Oh.
it's over in this 314 opens up a crate and it's filled with dust. Oh.
Oh.
Oh, that's right. Nothing's arrived in a very long time.
Which direction did this arrive from? And why?
Well, remember, both directions are up, but this one was from
Outer shell or inner shell?
inner shell.
It arrived from the inner shell.
Yeah, well, this one did.
Where was it supposed to go?
Oh, it was here for the kobolds.
You know what kobolds are!
I mean, what? You didn't think I was just gonna... Did you see me standing here asking if you were like weird dogs or something?
The
Oh. Yeah.
You did
Well, but
seem
you
to
did
be
ask me
surprised
what-
that we were made of meat.
Well, most beings I see nowadays for the past, I forget how many thousands of years, were all mechanical. But once I got over that initial shock,
We
The other,
did have a conversation about how kobolds were like kobots but meat.
we did.
Because you asked, because he asked, "What are you?"
obviously
record,
something.
I'm not going to require a roll for any of you to remember that 314 forgot how many zeros there are in 314's name.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
I don't think we mentioned we were. Did we mention? Did you say we were kobolds?
Yes.
Okay, you did say that, but that implies that there was grain for us. I mean, not us, but.
I mean, no one's eaten it in a long time.
Which were you going to send it to shell side or inner to outer shell or inner shell or?
Oh no, this was the stuff for here. More shipments
like
went through
the
the whole
episode-
way.
I like the episode where they stored a lot of grain for the long dead race for a long time.
I like that one too, but it's kind of sad. Where did all the other kobolds go?
Oh,
I guess we need to go to the inner shell.
Maybe.
Are you in charge of this facility?
you could say I'm the acting authority.
That will do.
Where's the architect?
Go on now.
Am I not remembering that? Is the
Uh,
player
the-
not remembering that word right?
The head of a cohort, if it's large enough, would be considered the admin.
Administrator.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, well, our administrator's in stasis, along with the factories, and most of the harvesters, and the messengers, and, well, with nothing to do, what didn't make a lot of sense to have was just, like, keep running. So I was told to have everyone shut down for a while until more ore showed up so we could make more helms. I
Told
couldn't
by
let my
who?
little friend here be asleep the whole time. I needed company.
Told
I
by
mean,
whom?
you can start to lose your mind if you spend too much time alone.
Did the
I'm
admin?
very familiar with that.
Yeah. Did the admin tell you to shut everyone down?
It was his plan, yeah.
Okay.
Would you please wake the administrator up?
I've been told not to.
Bye.
The administrator.
Because we don't have any ore, right?
Yeah, and there's no emergency. So, well, other than there not being any ore. So there needs to be an
Ah,
emergency or. That sounds silly. Or.
Okay,
I've,
314.
3 out of 4 or?
Listen to me. I need you to listen to me very carefully. I am Deza Stonetail of the Stonetail governing clan of the Kobolds. Please awaken the administrator.
I've been told not to.
I am countermanding that order.
That's a thing you can do?
Usually.
Yes.
Give me a deception check.
Hi. Oh my.
Can I assist on this by nodding?
By nodding vigorously.
Yeah. How does one assist anyway?
You say, I'm helping, and then I get advantage.
Okay, I'm helping. I don't have to roll anything to do this.
I'm looking to see if there's an option for me to. Ooh, there we go. Yes, I can make you roll at advantage when you roll, or let you. Okay. Well, apparently someone rolled a nat 20. Not saying who. Not going to lay blame anywhere. But a die may have been rolled and it may have landed on a 20. How do I know this? No clue, because I can't read those dice. They were too weird looking. But the chat window tells me that somebody rolled a nat 20.
I will say that the fact that I'm the one person in this room who can choose what surface to walk on possibly gives me slightly more authority.
You're taller.
314 can attempt to walk on the floor, but they have to keep flapping their wings to push themselves towards it. Otherwise, they take one step and they go, whoop! All right, so with your nat 20, 314 nods solemnly and says, well, if you say you can do that, I guess you can do that. So, right.
Please and thank you.
I guess. Follow me.
Okay.
And they head off around multiple bits of machinery that look like if you get too close to them, they'll rip something off.
Oh,
Bounce,
no.
bounce, clamber, use the rope, hang on to Maury's hand.
Oh, you don't need to hang on to Maury at all. Maury will hang on to you.
Aww.
You might need to use some type of healing on the limbs. Well, actually, no. Maury's going to hold on to your tail. It's fine. You
It's
can't
a
cut
good
off circulation on a plush tail.
Right. It's tied on around her waist very tightly.
Well, it is now. But that's where we're going to end it for tonight. Thank you,
Okay.
everyone, for playing. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Tonight, I was joined by a bunch of awesome people, including Beth, Ellie, Eo, and Jen. Who wants to plug a thing?
Eo's mom writes books. At elizabeth-mccoy.com is where you can find out where to buy them, like places like Smashwords or, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, etc. Ask your library. And speaking of books,
My website is bookofjen.net. It's got a lot of Diablo stuff on there and whatever else pops into my head that I have time and energy to write about. Wide variety of things. There's book reviews of things and stuff like that as well. I'm also the host of the Shattered Soulstone podcast at shatteredsoulstone.com. And just released an episode today with a special guest, goes by the name of Nineball, and he's pretty well known in the Diablo community, and we've been friends for quite a while, so that was a fun one to do. It's like different format than most of the other episodes. You can find it at shatteredsoulstone.com.
I like how at the end of the Prowlers and Paragons game that you played over at Restless Barbarian Gaming with Tom, you're like, with a special guest, and they're like, oh, who is it? Well, you'll have to listen. But for us, because we're recording this after it went live, we just have that information.
Yeah.
That
Yep.
shows you all you got to do is record late.
Yeah, there you go.
Wait.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Right, yeah.
Oh.
No, I did tell everybody in that group after we weren't live anymore who it was, so yeah.
I love being there for those recordings because I'm basically Statler or Waldorf in the chat.
Oh, it's so fun. Everybody loves it. We all crack up.
But my plan is to make sure everyone breaks character at least once.
I think you can do it.
And speaking of Patreon, we do have a Patreon, patreon.com/cogwheelgaming. Help us keep the lights on, along with other illustrious patrons, including Chris, Ellie, Eric, Shen, Walter, and patron emeritus, Cindy. And until next time, this is Crash saying, right, so it's right down this way and then hang a left. Wait, no, that's right. I always get turned upside down around here. Or is it right side up? Anyway, I think it's this way.
Oh no.
I like the episode where the Cobot got lost for a long time.
Good night, everybody.